Have you ever had your cat reach for you first, then pull back the second you tried to turn it into a cuddle? It feels sweet. It feels confusing too. Because in moments like that, your cat may not be sending one simple message at all. They may be doing something most people never stop to consider, setting the distance, the timing, and the rules of contact all at once. And if you read that moment like a human instead of like a cat, you can miss what they were actually comfortable with from the start. So let's begin with the part almost everyone skips. Closeness is not the same thing as permission. A lot of people make the same mistake the first time their cat does this. Your cat walks across the couch, rests a paw on your forearm, and your first instinct is to pet more, hold closer, turn that little moment into a bigger one. It makes sense. In a human relationship, moving closer usually sounds like yes. With cats, it often means something much more specific. They may want contact. They may not be handing over control. That's why a cat can lean against your hand for 5 quiet seconds, then leave the second you curl your fingers around them. It's why one cat will press their face into your wrist while you're sitting at your desk in Chicago, then flick an ear and step away when the petting turns into holding. And it's why a kitten can climb onto your lap at 6 a.m., touch your sleeve, and still twist out of your arms when you try to keep them there. None of that is cold. None of that is rejection. It just means the closeness felt good on their terms, at their pace, in that exact amount. Here's why this matters. A lot of people hear that and think, so my cat is sending mixed signals. Not really. The signal may be clear. It's just not being sent in a language most humans grow up using. We tend to treat warmth like an open door. Cats often treat it more like a sliding scale. A brief touch, a pause, a little more. Then enough. So when your cat reaches for you first, don't rush to enlarge the moment. Let it stay small for a second. Let them be the one who decides whether it becomes a cheek against your hand, a paw on your arm, or just one soft touch before they move on. You're not being pushed away. You're being shown the distance that feels safe. Comfort is real. It just isn't always permission. Picture the same cat, the same paw, the same house, and yet the meaning can change completely depending on where that moment happens. A touch on your arm while you're answering emails at the kitchen counter in Dallas does not feel the same as a paw on your sleeve when you're half asleep in bed at 11:47 p.m., and it definitely does not feel the same as that little reach while you're already petting them on the couch. The contact may look similar. The moment around it is not. During the day, your cat may be stepping into your attention more than into your affection. You're standing. You're moving. Your eyes are on your laptop, your phone, the sink, the front door. So that small touch can be their way of entering the scene without making it bigger than it needs to be. Then later, when you're already stroking their back on the bed, that same paw can mean something softer. Not notice me. More like stay right there. Same body part. Different moment, different feeling. Now bring the house into it. The hallway noise, the TV in the living room, the dishwasher humming at 9:15. Footsteps overhead in a second-floor apartment in Seattle. Cats notice those little shifts far more than we do. So sometimes when your cat reaches for you, they may not be trying to add more emotion to the moment. They may be trying to hold on to something familiar while the room keeps changing around them. And in most homes, you are one of the most familiar things there. Your smell is steady, your body heat is steady. Even your breathing, once you settle in, becomes something your cat can predict. That matters. A lot. Especially late at night, when the house gets quieter, the lights go low, and small sensations start to matter more. In those moments, a touch can be less about getting a reaction and more about finding a place that feels known. That's the part a lot of owners never factor in. They read the cat, but they don't read the room. And when you leave out the room, you can end up missing half of what the cat was doing in the first place. But even that still doesn't explain everything, because once you start paying attention, you notice something else. A quick tap is not the same as a paw that stays. And a paw that stays is not the same as a whole leg draped across your arm. The mistake most people make is smaller than it looks. They assume every paw on skin means the same thing. It doesn't. And once you start noticing the difference, a lot of confusing moments stop being confusing. A quick tap on your wrist while you're pouring coffee at 7:10 a.m. is not the same as a paw that stays on your sleeve for 10 full seconds. A paw that lands once and disappears is not the same as a cat stretching the whole front leg across your forearm on the couch. And neither of those feels the same as a touch with half-extended claws, a twitching tail, or ears turning back toward the hallway. Same body part, different message. That's where most owners get tripped up. They hear paw on me, and their brain files it all under one label. But the details change everything. A light touch and pull away can be a check-in. A repeated tap can be a push for your attention. A paw that rests there, with loose shoulders and soft eyes, can be more about staying in contact than asking for anything new. Then there are the moments that look sweet for half a second, but shift fast. The claws come out a little, the tail speeds up, the body gets tighter. That's not the same moment anymore. Here's the part that helps. Stop trying to find one perfect translation for the paw itself. Watch the rest of the cat. Watch how long the touch lasts. Watch whether the body softens or braces. Watch whether the cat stays, repeats it, or leaves. A single detail can change the whole feel of it. So yes, the paw matters, but it should never be read alone. The real clue is the whole cat, all at once. And once you see that, another question shows up. After each one of those moments, what did you teach your cat to expect from you next time? That matters more than most people realize. If your cat taps your face at 5:30 a.m. in Phoenix, and every single time you sit up, talk, fill the bowl, and head to the kitchen, your cat is learning something very clear. This works. Fast. On the other hand, if your cat touches your hand during petting, and you answer with one calm stroke, a short pause, and no sudden grabbing, your cat learns something different. This stays safe. This stays easy. Cats remember what gets results, not in some dramatic way. In the ordinary, everyday way habits get built in any home. Tuesday morning becomes Wednesday morning. One bedtime on the couch becomes 50 bedtimes on the couch. And over time, your response becomes part of the moment too. That's why age changes the feel of these touches. A kitten in its first few months may be messy about it. Quick, clumsy, in and out. A 2-year-old cat often looks more precise. By then, the cat has already learned what works with you and what doesn't. And a 15-year-old cat who has slept beside the same person for years may not move faster or bigger at all. Sometimes the touch gets slower, longer, simpler, not because it suddenly became more poetic, but because both of you have been rehearsing that little moment for a long time. And that's where people often get it wrong in a different way. They think a longer touch from an older cat always means a deeper feeling. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just means age has made quiet contact easier than playful movement. But even then, it still tells you something important. A habit that survives across years usually survives because it kept feeling right to both of you. So the next time your cat reaches out, don't only ask what that touch means in that second. Ask what usually happens after it. Ask what your cat has come to expect from your voice, your hands, your timing, your mornings, your nights, because those little answers add up. And after enough days, they stop being random moments. They become the relationship itself. So after all of that, the touch stops looking small. A paw on your arm on the couch. A brief reach across your desk while you're working. A quiet touch at 5:42 in the morning before the house is fully awake. Those moments can still be affectionate. They can still be real. But they're not always a simple invitation for more. Sometimes your cat is deciding how close feels right. Sometimes they're holding on to something familiar while the room changes around them. And sometimes they're responding to what the two of you have practiced together over weeks, months, even years. That's why these little moments stay with people. Not because they're dramatic, because they happen in ordinary places. On the bed, by the kitchen counter, in the hallway light. And over time, those tiny contacts start to carry a history of their own. A lot of relationships are judged by the big things. Cats don't always work that way. Their world is often quieter than that. Smaller, more repeated, more exact. So the meaning doesn't only live in one touch. It lives in the way the touch returns. The way it happens again next Tuesday morning. The way your cat finds the same place on your sleeve, or your wrist, or the edge of the blanket. And that may be the sweetest part of all. Not that your cat is performing something huge for you, but that in a house full of moving sounds, changing light, and busy human habits, they still know exactly where to reach when they want to feel close.